Something a little bit different. We're going to look at what are called cadastral plans. So whenever you buy a place in France, you'll have a list of parcels of land that come with that property. This is the French equivalent of the land registry. So some of these can be anything from thousands and thousands of square meters big, all the way down to 1 square meter, depending on how the land's been split up in the past, kind of based on the Napoleonic succession. So what we'll do is we'll look at a couple of websites that will show you ways to find those parcels, ways to view those parcels, some interesting things you can do with measurements, that kind of stuff. And I hope you find it useful. Okay, so when you buy a property in France, you will, at the signing, you will see one of these cadastral plans, which looks a bit like this. And then within the detail of the acte de vente and the compromis de vente that you sign, there will be a description of the parcels that you are buying, just so you can get a feel for exactly what it is legally that you have bought. Now, the best way to look at these kind of parcels from a legal perspective is on the French government website, cadastre.gouv.fr. I'll put the address up on the screen. So this is what the site looks like. So if you have the address of the house you're buying or the house you're interested in, then you can put that address in here. So for the sake of argument, we'll put in my home address. And I live in Corridor, there. And that's 87150. And then click on search, and then it will ask you to confirm the name of the commune, which you do. Click on search, and then it will bring up the sheet for that address. So if you look at this, I'll do that on full screen so you can get a better view of it. There's arrows here to zoom in and zoom out. So if you zoom out, you can see that that's in the whole town. Those are all the properties in the town. And then if you zoom in, you can see the parcels that are concerned. Now, that address pertains to this parcel number 64. If you want more information about that parcel, you click on S'informer here, click on the parcel, and then click on Validate, and it tells you the exact address, the reference of that parcel, which is what would appear on all your legal documents, and the square meterage of that parcel. As it happens, we own this parcel 65, 64 and 63. So if I were to sell my house, which I'm not planning on doing, you would be purchasing 63, 64 and 65, although I would be within my rights to keep 63 and just sell 64 and 65, for example. So if you were, for the sake of argument again, interested in this house, but you wanted to know how far it was from this house to this house, because it can be quite difficult to tell, you click on Advanced Tools, Measure, and then you've got Distance, Circumference, Area, and another one that I don't know. So you click on Distance, click on the corner there, to that corner there, and that will tell you that the distance between those two houses is 17 metres. Or, for example, I know that this is a barn because it's in my garden, and you want to know the area of that barn, the surface area of that barn. You click 1, 2, 3, 4, double click, and that tells you that that barn is 64 square metres. So that's all kind of quite useful stuff. So that's the kind of legal plan that you'll see when you buy your house. Of course, what it doesn't tell you is much kind of information about the terrain and what's going on in the land and all that kind of thing. So the other best thing to do is look at another website. So what this is effectively is Google Maps, but with the ability to put other maps overlaid on top of it. So if I do the same thing and I put in the same address, it comes up there, and then you can see this is the same plan as the other one, but the actual land itself. So again, if I zoom in, you'll see there's my house, there's that barn that I mentioned earlier. But then the clever thing is, if you want to see how the cadastral plan relates to that, you click on the cut here, which is on the maps, and you click on Parcel Cadastral, and that overlays those parcels on top of that map. So those parcels that we mentioned before, 63, 64 and 65, there they are. So yeah, again, the same kind of thing. You can measure a distance with this ruler here. You can measure the surface area again with this kind of ruler here. So if you wanted to measure how big those 3 parcels were, you would just click around the entire surface. I'll just do it roughly just so you get the idea of how it works. Yeah, 1,660 square meters. So yes, so that's again very useful. But the key thing, what's particularly interesting, I think, is that if, for example, you were looking at, you're interested in a house in Orador, and on the cadastral plan, you thought to yourself, I think, well, that looks quite good. There's a nice little house there. There's the town over here, so it's kind of nice and quiet and rural, but not too far away from the town. So that's all well and good. But if you then look on Geoportai and you find that same house, which is that one there, you'll see it is quiet and rural and not too far from the town, but also right next to quite a big road. So that's the kind of advantage that you get from looking at things on the Geoportai site rather than looking them on the cadastral site. None of this information is kind of set in stone. When you sign a contract, the notaire will say to you that this is the square meterage as it says on the cadastral site. They may be a few square meters out either way. If you want, you can get someone to come out with lasers and satellites and all that kind of nonsense and give you the exact boundaries of where the land is. But it'll cost you an extra €1,000 per parcel normally. Okay, so I hope that's kind of useful. It's a bit kind of niche, this one, but again, crucial information when you're buying. So as usual, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.